Welcome back to another episode of Storytime with Complaining Nathan. This Storytime topic is about the period of time right before we enter into college as high school seniors. The college acceptance letter era, I guess you could call it. And as usual, these stories are non-scripted and all come from my memory, so it might not be as accurate as I say it is, but this is just from what I remember. I usually like having stories be around the same time as when that particular event happened in my life, and so this story happened in early March of 2019, 6 years ago. This is the Perkins Fellows Leadership Program at Calvin College. New year, new intro.
Oh my god, number one my hero, man.
Now, Calvin College was a college that I applied to at the time when I was a senior in high school. It is actually called Calvin University now. They rebranded it to that name, but it is a Christian school in Michigan, and being the PK that I am, my parents wanted me to apply to this school to see if I can get in. Surprise, surprise, I got into the school. But the downside to this was that I did not receive enough financial aid. Not only was Calvin a private school, but it was also an out-of-state school for me at the time because I was in New York. I would have to take out a lot of loans if I wanted to attend this place, so ultimately I did not think much about going to this college because it's going to cost a lot of money out of pocket, and so I might as well just focus on the other places that give more financial aid. However, I did receive another letter from Calvin, and it was about a specific program that they were inviting me to. This was the John M. Perkins Leadership Fellows Program. This program was a program where if you enter, you basically are put in a cohort and you learn how to become a leader, gain leadership skills with the classes, and also taking part in extracurriculars and all that. And there's a lot of events you can partake in. I think there was a spring break trip and all that, but I don't remember much because obviously I didn't go to the school. That actually might be spoilers. But it was basically a program that if you get in, you get a scholarship for. My parents actually pushed me to take part in this program because there was a special perk to it in that there were 2 students that were handpicked by the staff at Perkins Fellows, and those students get full ride scholarship to Calvin College. And so being me, whose main focus was going to a school that I didn't have to pay money for, with that opportunity in mind, my parents really pushed me to do that and really see if I can get that full ride scholarship. And so they invited me to this banquet in this program. It was a 2-day thing from Friday to Saturday, but I was excited for it. It was my first time going to an out-of-state college visit by plane, and I was going without my parents, and I was also skipping school, and so I was really excited for it. And so Friday morning, I go straight to the airport after packing all my stuff. I packed like 2 days worth of clothes, a nice formal attire, a suit to wear to the banquet, also some schoolwork that I could get done during my free time when I was there. But I head over to the airport in the morning, take the flight all the way to Grand Rapids, Michigan. I did get a ride from one of the students at Calvin, attending Calvin at the time. I don't know, I think my dad had pastoral connections and somehow got a hold of this person. I think I can say her name. I don't think she's gonna care. I don't even think she watches my videos. But Juliana, she picked me up from the airport and she took me to school. If she is somehow watching this, hi Nuna, it's been a while. I hope you're doing well. But anyways, we go to school, and the banquet doesn't actually start till like 4 or 5 p.m. and I landed at like 10, 11 a.m. and so I have a lot of time to kill before then. But she has classes during the day, so she took me to the dining hall, and I was just hanging out with her boyfriend and a couple of her friends that were there. They didn't have classes, they had nothing to do, they were just chilling there, and so basically I was being babysat by a ton of older college kids. And being the shy, antisocial person that I am, I didn't really talk much. I barely even knew who Juliana was, you know, so like how can I even talk to them? She just brings me to school and then she drops me off while she goes to class, and I'm like, hi, okay, I'm gonna do my schoolwork because I have a lot of homework to do. So a funny thing that me and Juliana did was that she didn't want to have to explain how she knew me and how we got this connection and why I was visiting school at the time. And so she came up with a plan to say that I was just her cousin that was visiting for the weekend. I'd have to introduce myself. She basically said that I was her cousin that was visiting and all that. And so a lot of people actually did believe us, surprisingly, even though I don't think that we look that much alike. But, you know, it was just a funny long-running joke about, you know, how we were all related somehow. But I basically do my schoolwork while I'm just waiting for her to finish her classes. And then lunchtime rolls around, she comes back, we have lunch. Afterwards, she does give me kind of like a little mini tour of the campus and all that. She shows me around. You know, if I'm actually going to go to this place in the future, then might as well learn about the facilities and take a trip and look around on the campus. But we walk and talk about faith, spirituality, and college, and if I have any questions about college that I ask about to her. But eventually gets around the time when the banquet begins, so she takes me back to her car. I get my stuff, I go to a bathroom nearby, and I change into my formal attire and my suit, and then she takes me to the banquet hall where the banquet is. Now as I step into the hall, I see other people there already. These people obviously were also invited to this banquet program. This folder is what the staff gave each student. Basically has like the schedule of the banquet and also little ID cards and stuff that if you want to connect with yourself, you'd give it to like professors and staff and other fellow students that are there if you want to connect. But basically before the banquet dinner officially begins, we're basically all there waiting until then, and the adults, the staff there of the Perkins Fellows were encouraging other students to talk to each other and socialize before the banquet begins. And I don't know what to do. This is my first time, you know, really taking part in something like this before, but I basically put myself outside of my comfort zone and started striking up conversations with random people. You know, these are the people that potentially in the future could be in this program with you, so you might want to get to know them, you know? But I met all different types of people, not just from Michigan, but out of state, but also out of the country. Like, I'm from New York. There are a couple people that were from Michigan there. Other people were from like California, Texas, Florida. I knew someone that was from Europe. It was kind of like, you know, those rich people parties where everyone is like wearing like super formal suits and attire, and then they're holding their like champagne glass or their wine glass, and then they're talking with other rich people around them. It was kind of like that in a way. Of course, we're still only high school students, so we don't have those type of things, but we still have meaningful, great conversations with each other. So anyways, we talk and talk until everyone gets there, and then the banquet officially begins. We walk into this big room with lots of tables, lots of round tables with chairs, and we basically go to our assigned seating. At the table, there's not just other students that are sitting there, but there's also college students that are in the Perkins Fellowship Leadership Program that are also sitting there, and also parents of the students that were invited to come. If they wanted to come with their kid, then they would also sit there with their kid. We're about to have dinner, but before dinner starts, John M. Perkins gets up to the stage and starts talking and giving this long speech about why he decided to start the Perkins program and what its goal is and what you do in it and all that stuff. I honestly don't remember the speech that well because at the time I was really focused on just trying to be presentable, and I was hungry at the time too, so I'm sure it was a really good speech. But regardless, the speech is over and then dinner is officially served. But that all happens. We have nice conversations. I get to know more people. We finish eating dinner, and then from that point on to the rest of the night, it's basically free time. So each current college student in the Perkins Leaders Program is assigned a group of kids. It's basically like a small group in a way. So we basically go to our small group leader, and we get all our luggage, and then they take us back to the Perkins dorm where we will be staying for the night. And given that it's free time, basically we're all there just chilling. We're all sitting on the couch in the living room and just talking, eating pizza that some of the college students ordered. I guess it was kind of like my college party experience before I was even in college. So to say. But it was fun, and I know I'm repeating that phrase a lot, but it really was just fun. Because I didn't know what college was like. My only views of college and what I thought about college came from media and like college movies and TV and books and all that stuff from back then. I don't know what college was like, and the media really showing me what the view of college was like, I didn't really like it, and so I wasn't expecting much, but regardless, it was still really fun, and I was like, oh, you know, college parties can be like this too, huh? I think it was just nice not being the only PK there for once. But anyways, that wraps up the rest of day one. We all go to bed, and then the next day, this day is very important because there is an interview that we need to do to see if we qualify for the Perkins Leaders program. Before that though, we are served breakfast back in the dining hall, so we can attend that, and then we come back to the dorm, change into our formal attire. But before the interview start, we do get to do a little Q&A session with Dr. Perkins. If we have any questions about what the program is, then we can directed to him and all that. It was kind of like a calming, relaxing session that we can have right before we have an interview in case we're getting anxious, we can calm the nerves. Don't remember much about the Q&A session, obviously, because I was probably freaking out about the interview, but it rolls around the time that we have to do the interview. Now, this interview was honestly probably one of like the most hardest interviews that I remember doing. Honestly, the job interviews that I do now is not that anxiety inducing as the interview that I did at Calvin College back then for the Perkins Fellow Leader Program. Because they asked a lot of questions about your cultural experiences, and if you were put in a position of leadership, what would you do, or how can you contribute to being a great leader and all that stuff. And so I was never a leader type position. I'm kind of more of the follower rather than the leader type. Truth be told, I didn't do that great on the interview. I know I BS'd a lot of questions and all that. So the interview finishes, and we all meet back with the rest of the people in our small group and all that. And the weekend program is basically over from there. There is an optional campus tour that some people can choose to do, and also an optional lunch that they can attend. That the school will provide, but other than that, there is nothing else for us that is required of us to do. I just chilled for a bit with my rest of my small group, because my flight back to New York wasn't until 4 or 5 p.m. later in the day, and it was still only 11, 12, and so I didn't have much to do then. But the story does not end there. Juliana still reached out to me earlier in the day just to let her know when I would be finishing, and then when I did text her, she asked if I wanted to come visit her church at the time, because I think they were doing a Saturday Bible study session, and she was gonna attend that, and she was wondering if I wanted to come along and visit her church and meet her friends and all that. And I had time to kill and I had nothing to do, so I was like, yeah, might as well. And we're still going on with the fake lie about me being her cousin and all that to the church people there. I go to her church, I meet all the people, meet the pastor, and they end up going to the Bible study session. The way they did it was kind of like how the pastor was preaching, and each person has this paper full of blanks, and you'd basically just fill in those blanks while the pastor was preaching and all that. My favorite part was the worship band, actually, though, because the way they were playing, it was as if they were just jamming like musicians. It was just very cool to see that oh wow, church bands could be like this too, huh? Unfortunately, I can't be there the entire session because my flight is later, and so we leave a little bit early to get to the airport on time. And so she takes me back to the airport after that, and I go back to New York, and that is my experience at Calvin, I guess. At that point, now it's just a waiting period for me to see if I got into the Perkins program. But if it wasn't already obvious, I didn't go to this school because I didn't get into the program. I was pretty bummed out about it because Calvin was kind of like a dream school for me, and so not having the money to be able to go to this place and not getting into this program where I met a lot of really cool people, I was just very disappointed to find out that I didn't make it into the program. I look back on it now, and honestly, I don't have any regrets about it. Because if you watched a specific other college video of mine where I talk about my thoughts about college, then you'd know that I am not a big fan of college overall. But I can still appreciate the stuff that happened in the past, because I would not be where I am here in the future if it wasn't for those past experiences. Moral of the story: God has a plan for you, for me, for everyone. While I might have thought that getting this invitation to join this program was kind of like God telling me hey, maybe this is for you, and I thought, even though I may have thought that that was his plan for me, it ultimately ended in me going to a college that I didn't really want to go to, and finding myself in a place that I would have never expected to be in. Like here in Chicago. So if you are a current high school senior or a student at Calvin that's watching this video, for whatever reason, word of advice that I would give is just to pray a lot, and just know that God has a plan for each and every one of us, and really be grateful for just the position that you are in right now, and for all the little things that have happened in your life, because you honestly wouldn't be in the position that you are in now if those things haven't happened in the past. All the other people that did get accepted into the program, they're probably way better than me in terms of leadership skills and all that. And so they're all great people. I don't know if they're ever gonna find this video, but if you do, hey, it's been a while. Hope you're doing well. But that is the story of the Perkins Leaders Fellowship. I can't even say this properly. Like, I don't even know if this program still exists at Calvin, if I'm gonna be honest. But that is the story. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and really got something out of it. As usual, subscribe or just don't. I hope you guys all have a good day or night, and hope to see you guys all in the next video, whenever that's gonna be. Okay, bye. Cool transition. Wow.